This setup is a system of Neopixels controlled by a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus and running on a program called Strand Test Example, which is part of the Raspberry Neopixel library. Let's start the Strand Test example. The author of the original software is Tony DeCola. These Neopixels are so fascinating in that the color of each of the three LEDs inside each package can be controlled by digital means. Apart from the most beautiful colors each of them can generate, the digital possibilities are enormous. There are different modes on which the Neopixels can be programmed to. All different color schemes can be visualized. Tony's program has a complete symmetric appearance. Inspired by the beautiful colors and digital capabilities, a GameBoard of 82 Neopixels was constructed. In basic, it's a PCB on which 82 Neopixels are mounted. So the idea came up, why not using an app to control all this? So you have a smartphone, a Raspberry Pi, wireless LAN, and a Neopixel GameBoard. One can control the Neopixels of the GameBoard by app using wireless LAN, and one can control the display of the Raspberry Pi by app. The Raspberry Pi uses a 3.5-inch touchscreen monitor, a power supply, a USB keyboard, and a USB mouse. The Neopixel GameBoard has an interconnect cable between the Raspberry Pi and the GameBoard and a 5 volts 5 amps power supply input. The Neopixel GameBoard consists of a PCB on which there are an 8 Neopixel ring, a 24 Neopixel ring, 4 rows of 10 Neopixels and 2 rows of 5 Neopixels. Below is a level shifter to convert the 3.3 volts from the Raspberry Pi to the 5 volts of the Neopixel. There are isolators between the rows of Neopixels, and on top there's a canvas. This is the system in which the Raspberry Pi and the smartphone are operating in. Both the smartphone and the Raspberry Pi are connected to the wireless LAN router. The router acts as a DHCP server and relates to the smartphone and the Raspberry Pi. They both obtain their IP address from the router. The smartphone communicates with the Raspberry Pi over the router. The Raspberry Pi controls the GameBoard and its display. In essence then, the smartphone controls both the Raspberry Pi display and the Neopixel GameBoard. The app consists of two parts, game and mode. Game is a play between 3 or 4 drivers competing on a highway over 30 countries in the world. And mode is a light show of different modes. So if one first enters the command for the Raspberry Pi to start the server. So now the server is running, and at first the A3 game icon shows up on the Raspberry Pi. So one can control the Raspberry Pi display by app as well. So one can select a country, for instance Canada, and the Canada with its flags, colors showing up, and one can select Greece. The Greece is showing up. So now we switch the lights off to see the LEDs on the game board. We will go through 2 demonstrations. One is game demo and the second one is a mode demo. So let's start off with a game demo. You select game at the top. Select the country, for instance UK. Make sure the IP address of the Raspberry Pi is correct. And then you press Init. The UK shows up on the Raspberry Pi. And we can start the game. So the driver 1 in red is showing up. We press the dice button. It's got 4, and the fourth LED is showing up red. Green's got 6, and the 6th LED is showing up green. Driver 3's got 2, and the second LED is showing up blue. So you can carry on like this. The values are added. That is a breakdown. Driver 3's got a breakdown. He's got 0. Driver 1, 2. So driver 1 has hit a trap. 10 kilometers were subtracted from his value. If 2 LEDs are on the same position, the LED turns white. From round 6 on, the plus minus button row is showing up. So each driver can choose how to apply his value. So he will add his value. So at the end of each round, the finish button shows up. So you can press finish, and you've got an applause for the winner. So that was the applause for the winner, and driver 2 has won, green, with 27 kilometers. Driver 3 in blue is second with 11, and driver 1 in red has got 10. So that was the game demo. We will go to the mode demo now. So we go back to the Init layout. First press clear all inputs. Choose mode. Choose a country, Croatia. Make sure the IP address is correct. Press Init and start. So the mode demo is starting with rainbow colors. So the next demo is Chase, it's called. And different color LEDs are tracing along the highway.